Danny Gilfillan for Boxing News, joined via Zoom by top trainer Abel Sanchez. Abel, bit of a time difference, but we got it working. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm very well. All the better to be speaking for yourself. First thing I want to talk to you about, Abel, is Filip Hrgovic. We're just over a month removed from what was, in the end, a comfortable decision win against David Adelaide, but a fight in which Filip suffered another pretty nasty cut. I've got to say, you guys done an incredible job in the corner to get that under control. How is he, and what's the time scale of a return to the ring looking like for Filip?
Philip is doing well. He's home. He's with his beautiful daughter and wife, and he's recuperating. It was a nasty cut. We were offered a fight in December. I suggested we don't take it for those reasons. I figured if we're in camp and we get cut in training, and it's going to delay even more his return. So I figured it'd be best if we not fight this year. We'll wait until the first quarter next year and see what we come up with.
We'll circle back to that would-be fight in December, but it's not the first time we saw Filip suffer a cut like this. Just how much does that factor into future game plans in terms of training camps, fight tactics themselves? Filip's a very tough guy. We've never seen him too badly hurt, but the cuts are becoming a bit of a recurring theme. Just how much is that going to factor into you guys thinking going forward?
It is and it isn't. We just have to make sure that we let it heal as long as possible, and obviously the sparring would have to use some highly protective headgear so that way we don't get cut, and make sure we get guys in here that are not billy goats. But as long as we do our job in the corner and keep him in the fight, he'll do his job inside the ring. It's um, it's very important that we're competent on the outside to be able to allow him to do his job.
Yeah, for sure. And well, there was certainly no doubts over the competence of the corner and fight night. As I say, a tremendous job done on that cut. You mentioned Abel the offer of a fight in December. Now you don't have to give me an answer on this, but there was a lot of speculation that Filip could be in line to fight Moses Itauma. You've said probably sensibly that Philip's going to take the rest of the year off. Is a fight with Moses something you would entertain? Obviously, a rising star in the heavyweight division. He's in some people's eyes already been anointed the sort of next king. A lot of people saying Filip could pose some questions of him. He's not had the answer before. Is that a fight, one with Moses Itauma, you should be interested in?
Well, there were several fights offered for December, but of course we'd consider that. He is a rising star, and I think he has to go through some steps to get to a championship level. Who knows if he's the goods or not? Philip would love a fight with him. I've discussed it with him, and he'd love a fight with him.
What have you made of Moses' recent performances? They've not lasted too long. Dispatch of Dillian White and around a lot of the eye tests. People are saying he's passing with flying colours, but we've never seen him late in a fight. We've never seen him hit clean on the chin. Just what are your thoughts from a trainer's eye on Moses Itauma's progress so far?
Well, putting a coach's hat on, I would say that I would rather have him go 3 or 4 rounds instead of knocking somebody out early in the first, because it really says nothing of his development in the gym. I'm sure Andy, uh, uh, who's working with him now? Ben Davis.
Ben Davison, yeah, that's
Yeah, I'm sure Ben is doing a great job with him. Andy's working with Parker, right?
correct.
Yeah, Ben. I've always thought that Ben was a good coach, and I'm sure that they're working on a lot of things. But for a coach, it's nice to be able to practice those things on fight night to see how they work and see if we can implement them against a high caliber opponent. Unfortunately for him, his fights have been short, but he's going to be tested in the future, and it'd be nice to be tested along the way.
You mentioned Joseph Parker there, so I'll ask you about his upcoming fight with Wardley. There's two guys, I'm sure, as the trainer of a top heavyweight yourself, you've had an eye on over the past 18 months. On paper, seems a big step up for Fabio, going in with a guy like Joseph Parker, who's in the form of his life, got 3 wins over top 10 heavyweights. What's your read on that fight, Abel?
Joseph has done very well with Andy. Andy has brought something out of him, and maybe patience and smarts that maybe was always there, but nobody had brought it out. As far as Wardley is concerned, he's a danger to anybody that he fights. He's got that good power that could neutralize a lot of things that Parker tries to do. But I still think that Joseph should prevail in this one. It won't be easy. He's gonna have to be on his p's and q's, I think, to be able to defeat and to knock out somebody like Wardley.
Yeah, I think that's the aspect of this fight that really brings the excitement that Fabio sort of proved he can get anyone out of there at any given moment. Yeah, well, it's been a few weeks since Terence Crawford defeated Canelo Alvarez, but I still would like to pick your brains on it. Uh, Most people, I think, envisaged a Canelo Alvarez win, but Terence Crawford ended up on the night winning a wide points victory. Break that one down for us. What was Crawford able to do to win so widely, and perhaps more crucially, what was Canelo Alvarez maybe not able to do that we saw him do in the past?
I think that a lot of us, myself included, didn't take into consideration when we're making our, let's just say, predictions or our thoughts, saying our thoughts on the fight prior to the fight, is that Canelo had been fighting a bunch of big guys that were slower than Crawford. A lot of big guys that would just stand there for him, and he was able to tee off on them. And there were some guys that moved a little bit, but most of the time they were big guys, big 68 pounders that posed no movement and no speed per se to Canelo. So he was able to do the things that he wanted. On fight night, I thought that the first 3 or 4 rounds, I think, and I said that in some interviews, that the first 3 or 4 rounds would be difficult for Canelo because the speed of Crawford would be the difference early, as it was for us with Kell Brook when we fought him with Triple G. But I was surprised how easily Terrence, or no, I shouldn't say how easily, how well conditioned he was to be able to sustain his attack, his movement, and he wasn't running; he was just positioning himself in the right position to be able to land the shots. And I thought he fought a great fight. I didn't think he could last the 12 rounds doing that. Uh, Surprised everybody that in the ninth, 10th round, he kind of picked it up and really picked it up, I think, because he saw a frustrated Canelo. So he was able to do the things that he wanted to do. And I'm sure he wasn't looking for a knockout. He was looking just to outbox him and outpoint him and outclass him, and that he did.
Absolutely. What, if anything, should Terence Crawford do next? He's said he's going to take some time. He's going to enjoy the victory, as he should, but doesn't stop the likes of us speculating and maybe throwing a few names in the hat. People are talking about potentially going back down to middleweight, a division he's not fought at. I think it's the only division amongst six he's not won a world title in when you go from lightweight up to super middle. Does that interest you? Would you like to see him sail off into the Sunday at 3 times undisputed world champion, 5 weight division world champion, or is there any fights left out there on the table you'd like to see butt in?
Unfortunately for Terrence, he's got we as fans are a bunch of cynics, a bunch of, he should have done this and he should have done that. I think Terrence needs to do what is best for Terrence and his family. In my opinion, there's nothing that he can do now that's going to top what he just did. I mean, he looked great. He fought the face of boxing, as a lot of people would call him, and I was calling him. He made a lot of money. So there's nothing really that he can do that's going to top it. Anything he does that doesn't come close to that is going to be a letdown for not only for him but for his people.
We shall see. Just a couple other fights I want to pick your brains on, Abel, and I will let you get on with your day. Sebastian Fundora against Keith Thurman, same weekend as Joseph Parker, Fabio-Wardley, I believe. It's the first high level fight for Keith Thurman in a long time, and he's going in against a light middleweight in Sebastian Fundora, who seems to be going from strength to strength. The odds makers have Sebastian as a pretty clear favourite. Is that how you see the fight, or can Keith roll back the years and spring what would be a pretty big upset?
Well, Keith has had his better days, but he's still dangerous. And we've seen in Sebastian that he can sometimes be a little too relaxed and get caught. He's not one of those guys going to box you from the outside, so he's going to be there to be hit. And Keith is experienced enough that he may clock him. Whether he can defeat him, it's going to have to be a once in a lifetime shot, like he got caught by Mendoza. Uh, but Sebastian does have a tendency to sometimes relax a little too much and allow his opponents to get back into a fight.
The 154 division, Abel, in many people's eyes, is the strongest, the deepest in the sport of boxing at the minute. Do you want to get your thoughts? Who's the pick of the bunch for your eyes? We got Virgil Ortiz, Jaron Ennis making his debut at that weight coming up. We got Xander Zayas just won a world title. Background Murtazaliev, many people see as the boogeyman. There's so many names I could list. Who's the pick of the bunch for you, or is it almost too early to tell because we haven't seen most of these guys in with each other?
think the proven one is Sebastian. The second one to me would be the young man that you call the boogeyman, the one I think he's the one that beat Tim, right? Tim
Correct.
Zoom.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I think he would be second. I would say the toss up between Virgil and Duran, just because they haven't really had that signature fight that they should have to tell us to show us that they can handle the elite group. Um, who else did you mention?
We got Virgil Ortiz, Jerron Ennis, Murtazaliev, Xander Zayas, of course.
Xander Sayas, I would say I think they need to protect him a little bit right now early. I don't believe that he is quite mature enough to handle these guys experience-wise. The one that's a dark horse, though, is the young man from Togo. I think that he is somebody they're going to have to deal with very, very soon.
Was that Abbas Barrow?
Yeah. Abbas Barov,
Of
yeah.
course, yeah, yeah. My friends at Wasserman, they'll be angry at me for not bringing up, but you're right. Incredible win over UNS Tele, a big underdog on the road. Go
If
on,
there's
sorry.
a dark horse, he's the dark horse, and he is probably the most dangerous one of the bottom ones because you just don't know. He beat a very good fighter, and you just don't know what his upside is.
Yeah, for sure. Well, as I say, such an exciting division, and as always, the hope with boxing fans, we just hope we see these guys in with each other in their prime. Want to circle back to UK shores, Abel. The rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn was announced. We had the launch press conference, another fiery affair a couple of weeks ago. Repeat the revenge. A lot of people saying the weight, the age, this rehydration clause may prove a tipping point for Eubank second time around. Do you see it that way, or do you fancy him to make his physical advantages tell again over Conor Benn?
I really thought the first fight was going to be a little bit different. I thought that Conor was going to be uh, a little too dog eat for him. He was going to be on him, and he was going to be just throwing too many punches and just over a maul. They just say overwhelm uh, um, Eubank, but Eubank proved to me that his weight difference and his size difference was the difference and is gonna be the difference in the next one too. I think he'll win a decision also again.
All right, we look forward to it. And this stack card in Saudi Arabia coming up, we got David Benavidez, Anthony Yard, Brian Norman Jr. against Devin Haney, Bam Rodriguez, Fernando Martinez. Yeah, fantastic card. Just want to get your thoughts on the Devin Haney fight, bidding to become a three-weight world champion against, in many people's eyes, the number 147 pounder in the world at the minute, Brian Norman Jr. What's your read on that fight? It's a real clash of styles. You got the power puncher and Brian Norman, the boxer and Devin Haney. Who do you think prevails, Abel?
Well, as I said about Abbas, I think Brian Norman is the dark horse in that division. I think that even though he's a world champion, he really hasn't shown us really what his upside is. I think that in this fight, he has a chance to really distance himself from the other 47 pounders by beating Haney. Haney is moving up in weight, so will that weight make a difference? Will it not only slow him down, but will the size be a difference? I think Brian Norman outpoints him and maybe knocks him down a couple times.
Did you see any red flags in Devin's comeback fight against Jose Ramirez?
He was a little too careful. He was just, and I don't think he can do that with Brian. I think he's a little careful. Brian's going to catch him. Brian's a little quicker than Jose, um, and if he's a little too careful and it does not keep Brian at bay by throwing punches and by throwing punches that are going to keep Brian off bay, then I think he gets caught. Brian's a different fighter than Jose and a different weight.
Yeah. And the very last thing I want to get your thoughts on, and I'll let you
All right,
get.
just
Sorry.
so you know, so before I have two young men fighting on that November 22nd card in Saudi Arabia. I have Muhammad Alakel will fight an 8-rounder, and a young man named Sultan Al Muhammad will fight a 4-rounder.
Yes, I'm aware of Mohammed. What's your thoughts on these budding fighters coming through the Saudi Arabians? I know Mohammed's been on a couple of these shows now. How have you been with his progression so far?
Well, the biggest problem for them is that they don't have the competition over there in their area that other fighters have. Like say the U.S., we were able to travel to other states where there's different styles, different tournaments, different kind of competition. For them, unless they get out of Saudi, they have no real test over there for them to develop. So it's been my job with these two young men to try to advance them a little bit in the experience level. But they're doing well. They're hard workers. They're committed to what they're doing. So for a coach, that's always a pleasure to work with somebody like that. So I hope to see the improvements on that day, the 22nd of November, in both of them.
I suppose sharing a card with, some of the best fighters
Yeah,
in the sport
that's a
could be
great card. That's a great card.
yeah. Last thing, Abel, and I'll let you get on with your morning. And I feel almost remiss to ask you about this when we've listed off some of the best boxers in the sport, but it's like it or lump it, it's going to be one of the biggest boxing events this year, and that is Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis, exhibition bout, we believe, 195 pounds. I think a lot of boxing fans have been a bit more dismayed by this more than previous Jake Paul fights because this is an active or was an active world champion, very much in his prime, very much with matchups left on the table. Fans wanted to see him in. What's your thoughts on Gervonta Davis foregoing fights with the likes of Shakur Stevenson, a rematch with Lamont Roach, and going down the Jake Paul route?
Well, I've said several times on these interviews that I think Gervonta Davis is one of my current favorite fighters. I just like watching him fight. I like what he has something that we as coaches can't teach, and that's that street meanness that he has, that he wants to hurt somebody, and finds a way to do it. I don't like to fight, but as a fight fan, I don't like to fight, but as a coach and as a coach that deals with a lot of different young men that are trying to make a way to try to secure their future, I think it's a smart fight for Gervonta Davis. Even if he loses, he's going to secure his future and his family's future. So um, I don't like it, but as a coach, I understand it.
Yeah, I get you completely. Huge riches on offer. Abel, I've taken up plenty of your time. Really enjoyed that. A busy end of the year to the boxing calendar coming up, and very much enjoyed getting your thoughts on those fights. Thanks for giving me your time, and I'll let you go. Cheers, mate.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.